talk a little bit about weight. A lot of folks don't realize that we weren't always as big as we are today. In fact, the Greeks used to have these wonderful statues they'd make of these masculine figures or beautiful women. And nowadays, if I tried to make one, it would, look a little different. But I want to talk to you about weight in a whole different way. I want to change your mind about what weight's really about. Because frankly, I don't even care what your scale says. It's not about your weight, it's about your waist. Your waist size is a much better predictor of the health risks you're going to have. And here's the deal. Your ideal waist size should be less than 1/2 your height. So let's say you're 6 feet tall. So 6 times 12 inches, because there are 12 inches in every foot, that's 72 inches, right? Do the math with me. 72 inches of height, that's 6 feet tall, divided in half, that's 36 inches. See, math comes in handy. 36 inches, which is half your height, is the most your waist can be. Now, when you get above that waist size, you start to develop complications. For a woman or a teen that's 5 feet tall, 5 times 12 is 60 inches, divided in half, that's 30 inches. So she has to be less than 30 inches to have an adequate and safe waist size. Now, you can get thinner than that, but you don't want to be bigger than that, otherwise you start running into health consequences. Now, here's the deal. You got to actually measure the waist. You got to take a measuring tape, put it around your waist, put it on top of your hips and over your belly button, and waist size is only appropriately measured with these measuring tapes. Your belt does not tell the story, because what happens when you get bigger is you put the belt beneath the fat. And so, yeah, you can walk around with a big beer belly, but it doesn't really help me or you understand if you're at risk or not. Now that you know that, here's why it matters. That yellow pad is the omentum. I'll come back to it. The liver's in the top left up there, that's the brown thing. The gallbladder's the green stuff. The food's in your stomach being pushed down into the small intestines. You just had a meal, let's say, a couple hours ago. That food, that whiter stuff, is now mixing up with the green bile. It comes from the liver and the gallbladder. And that bile is like a soap. It washes it. And because it washes it, it allows it to be absorbed through the lining of the intestinal wall up through the veins. When it goes through the veins and gets absorbed, the liver, which is the big organ here, is the big detoxifying organ of the body, begins to filter it. If it's healthy food, the liver loves it. If it's not healthy food, the liver turns to foie gras. That's what duck liver looks like, pate. That fatty liver you don't want to have, and unfortunately 20% of Americans seem to have some element of it. And then what happens? That yellow pad that I showed you earlier, the omentum, sounds like momentum without the M, starts to get ponderously large and stretches across your body. And that belly fat does a bunch of things that messes with your blood pressure, it messes with your blood sugar, messes with your cholesterol. Your family members have a lot of these issues. You might one day as well, even now perhaps, if you don't be careful about that belly fat. So, now that you know that, what are you going to do about it? Well, conventionally, you go on a diet, right? Who's been on a diet out there? A lot of folks. Unfortunately, conventional diets don't work. I'll give you an example. How many of you can go into a pool underwater and hold your breath indefinitely? Like hold your breath without ever coming up again. Hard to do, isn't it? You would not even think of doing it. It's sort of foolish to try because everyone knows you have to breathe. But here's the deal. When you try to go on a diet, it's the same problem. You can't go on a diet and stay on it because you got a dozen redundant ways of forcing you to eat because your ancestors had to eat. No one ever wanted to go on a diet before. So actually to do this right, remember the biology will always beat out your willpower. The biology of blubber is powerful. What you can do though is elbow the biology of blubber out of the way. Get away from some of the junk foods that trip you up, and now your biology of blubber will support you. And that's what you want. Here's how I talk about it. So you're a sugar addict. Isn't everyone? It's not like you're eating that much sugar, right? Wrong. Let's break it down. The average American consumes 142 pounds of sugar a year. That's right, pounds. That's 1,463 bottles of soda. Not a soda fanatic? Well, try 5,855 cookies. That's 16 cookies a day. Now, who needs 16 cookies a day? Or for that matter, 1,894 cups of chocolate ice cream. Think of it this way. You're eating the equivalent of Bruno Mars. Bruno Mars made of sugar. You know that can't be good for you. So how do you stop craving so much sugar? I've got a plan. And oh yeah, it takes just 14 days. So let's get started. That video is a pretty good example of how we try to tell people to go on plans to get rid of the extra sugar in their lives. And again, all this information is yours, it's free, take advantage of it, spread the wisdom, and all these HealthCorps programs will share with you how you can get off the sugar binging habits that many of us are on. But let me give you some other tips to lose weight as well. You can, for example, take spicy foods. This is a thing that you might want to not give little kids, but you certainly can tolerate spicy foods. It tends to speed up your metabolism a little bit, reduces your appetite at the next meal, and it tastes pretty good. Now, I personally love nuts. Now, some people say, I don't eat nuts, they're too fattening. That's not true. Nuts have fat in them. but they're so darn good for you because they're going to become trees, remember? They got all the nutrients of trees, that your body says, thank goodness you gave me those nuts, I'm not going to eat any more. So paradoxically, although they have calories from fat, they don't make you fat. Your body digests the nuts, uses the nutrients as you need them, and then says stop eating, and so you end up eating less calories. That's why when we do studies and look at people who eat nuts, they turn out to be thinner than people who don't eat nuts. There's so many examples like that. When you eat real whole food, it's good for you. Eat the food that comes out of the ground looking the way it does when you eat it, and you'll almost always be better off. And your body will move back towards a playing weight. It helps with your skin, your ability to pay attention. Now, conversely, processed foods, like things like soda pop, well, they got just empty carbohydrates in there. And don't think you're getting away from the problem by having diet drinks, because yeah, you get rid of the sugar, but this artificial sweeteners aren't any better for you. I don't think they cause cancer or anything like that, but they do mess with the ability of your body to figure out what to put in your mouth. In fact, when you eat artificial sweeteners, a lot of people think that because they're so darn sweet and they're 200 times sweeter than sugar, that your mouth can't process it quite right. So your mouth says, I got something really sweet in here, guys, but your brain says, yeah, but I didn't get any sugar up here. So it sort of reminds you to go off and eat more. Now, we don't know for sure what's happening. All we know is that people who go on diet sodas tend to be heavier at the end of these studies than people who don't. You figure out what you want to do on your own, but my gestalt is drink seltzer water, put a little fruit juice in there, you're better off. Get real nutrients, even if they have calories, long term you'll be happy. Now, remember, when we talk about HealthCorps in general, we talk to you about nutrition, because we want you to eat the real food. We talk about fitness, because we want you to burn off calories, more than you eat, certainly, but you feel better about yourself as well. But really, my friends, it comes down to resilience. It comes down to be mentally tough, to be able to deal with the challenges in life. That's why you should care about taking care of your body, because it's a great playbook for how to deal with life's problems. If you can manage your own body, you can begin to manage life's issues more readily. So think of your body as the practice round. It's you playing in the junior varsity for a little while, getting used to the world. So when you're ready to go out there and be on the varsity team, you've already trained really hard and you're ready to fight going forward. If you think about it that way, you'll avoid some of the junky foods that I see being served all the times in cafeterias around this country. And as much as I want to change the foods, you're my best ally to do it. So go in there and ask for the foods that are better for you. And if you can take advantage of that and get some good coordinators to help you out, we'll sing a song like this for you.
Dr. Oz, what's up, Dr. O? Time to get involved, let the whole world know.
Just the other day, they see me on the show. Didn't know I had style, didn't know I had flow for sure.
I'm not your average doc, put exercise with hip-hop. It's all about the move.
Yeah, all about the moves.
No matter how we move, man, we ain't gonna stop.
Have to come together on this track, kick a little facts
about the way we're moving, what we like.
Gotta watch your calories, what you're taking in.
Now to balance out your calories, you gotta hit the gym.
Never thought a cardiac surgeon,
a neurologist.
We'll talk exercise,
not politics.
You only got one life to live.
Live healthy, that's what it is.
Let's go!